What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the pregame meal for week 2 versus the Indianapolis Colts. We got pretty much 58 minutes till kickoff time. I'm going to go ahead and hit you up. If you're just new tuning in, hit that like and subscribe button. We got you covered with this here. Definitely going to have you covered every game before Atlanta Falcons football. So hit that like and subscribe button for us. We definitely got you covered. So thank you for tapping in. I'm getting ready to drop the link in a little bit just to see what's up with everybody and how they're feeling about today. This is going to be another important game today, another preseason game, another way that we're trying to make sure that the Falcons can actually come out here and do a little something. Um, this is going to be one of these games where we need to see some more of the starters because after this week, you're only going to have 1 week really to get these guys in condition for the first game of the season. So at this point, been trying to look for different ways to watch the game. If you can't watch it, tap in with my guy Larry Dixon of the Dixon Way. He'll definitely be able to do a little something for you before this ball game, and he's going to keep the commentary going. He's local. He's one of these guys. If you can't get the game on TV, y'all check out Larry Dixon. He's going to get you right, and he's going to be fair all the way down the middle. So shout out to the Dixon Way, him and his lovely wife Shonda, and little Larry. They're doing that thing over there. But man, we got to talk a little bit about it. We're seeing a lot of residuals come back from Tua this week. We're seeing the fact that Tua is struggling with being able to handle the snaps. As I said the other day, he's a timing quarterback, ladies and gentlemen, a timing quarterback. And if you really pay attention to how he plays the game, he's one of these guys. If once he's comfortable, he's good. But hell, that's any quarterback. But right now, all I can do is just kind of chuckle and laugh at this point because he's coming here for $1.3 million. He's one of these guys that has to fit in, but the right side of that offensive line has been struggling, period. You know, Jawan Taylor, they're expecting him to come back, but right now we still don't have an answer for the right side. Jack Strand led a touchdown drive last week. He had some moments to where he actually looked good. I mean, the running back depth, I'm not worried about. I think Carter might lose his job to Mr. Goodson, who came in here and had a hell of a day. But all I'll say is this. It's preseason. It's no need to crash out. It's no need to put so much stock into it because everybody is putting so much stock into this right now to where it's sickening. Look, it's the preseason. I get that you want to win. I get that you want to look good. But did you ever sit and think that half of the guys that we have on this roster right now will not be here? Either they're going to be here on the practice squad, but they're definitely not starters. Maybe only one starter would be Jack Strand because the quarterback situation right now is up and down. We don't know if Tua is going to be able to survive the season. If we can keep him upright, he should be all right. We just have to see what's up at this point. We definitely got to see what's up. Been trying to tell people up front. So many different things are going to be happening. So many moving parts are going to be happening when it comes to the Falcons at this point. I'm dropping the link in here for you guys. If you guys want to come in and tap in, I'm also put it out there on X as well. So if you want to come in here, just make sure your camera is on. This is a segment that's guaranteed and really for the fans to come in here to ask questions about the future of the season and how most things are going at this point. So I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, we got a chance to do something. We got a chance to really see how Stefanski's offense is going to open. They're keeping it vanilla, but I see a couple of pieces that could actually be good. I just keep concerning myself with the offensive line. That's where I'm at with it at this point. And when we look at it, it's been a consistent Achilles heel for the Falcons. And when we really think about it, we've struggled. Even when Matt Ryan was here, we've seen quarterbacks get hurt. We've pretty much seen like a turnstile. This is going to have to be something that gets addressed next season. I know everybody keeps saying the quarterback, but how can you address something when you're not able to have something to protect it? That's my questions. What's going on, Big Ike, welcome to the page. Today we got Island Mike in the building. We got Artavius in the building, and that's how I see it. You know, and I'm looking at it like this, and I'm with you on this, Ike. This I'm not doing a like regulated segment. As I said, the pregame meal is for the folks that come through and actually, just this fan segment that talk to me, and you get to see the fan side of me as well too. But man, I just look at it from this standpoint. The Falcons are definitely in a position to where they have to figure out this offensive line. If I'm going to draft next year, I'm not, yes, I'm worried about the quarterback health. Yes, I'm worried about everything else. But again, the thing I'm worried about is the offensive line. Until we can get a consistency with this offensive line, it's just horrible. Y'all forgive me, the camera was about to fall. So do apologize about that. But I'm just saying the offensive line has got to be the main thing that we concern ourselves with at this point. That's what I'm seeing. Until we can get that right, it's going to be tough. Yeah, Kendall Daniels is going to be playing today. Perkins is going to be playing today, just like last week. They're going to get the start. I would like to see a little bit more and I'm gonna go back to this. What's going on? What's going on, JGP Jr. 640 6497? What's going on? I'll say this. I want to see a little bit more of Cash Jones because from what I saw when he was on the field, third down back, catching the pass, he's a Swiss Army knife. He does special teams. He's gonna make the roster. The question is, can we use him as a gadget piece? Because you want to take some of the pressure off of Branch, Pitts, Bijan. You want to take some of the pressure off of your main guys. You want some of these role guys to come in and be able to carve out a niche for themselves as well, and just create a little bit of separation for defensive coordinators to be able to just say, you know what, I got to focus on this guy. I got to do this. I have to do that. That is something else that you also got to look at. Let's see. Nando comes in and says the offensive line has serious concerns. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. Yeah, that's what I've been preaching. That's the main thing. And, Jake Matthews is getting to that point now to where we got to look at it like, well, damn, are we in a position to where we're going to keep Bergeron as a guard? Are we going to kick him out are we going to kick him out to pretty much being a tackle, which he was in college? Or are you going to draft another tackle? That's going to be the biggest thing. But again, our offense can't get rolling until we can get some folks out here to do a few things. What's going on, Jennifer Elizabeth? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming through. You guys go ahead and tap in. I made sure I posted the link if you want to come in here and chop it up today. Like I said, we open up the pregame meal for all fans. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the rosters that we're going to have today. This is what's going to be there. And then I'll talk about the good and the bad that happened this week with the joint practices. So this is pretty much going to be the preseason roster for today. Tua's going to get the start. Rush, Strand, Penix is out. Drake's going to get a couple of snaps. Blair, Juice Wells, and Bo Collins will get some stuff. Pitts is going to start. Hooper, Velling, and then you got Charlie Warner. We might see a little bit of Josh Simon today. Maybe, maybe not. You never know. Matthews is going to get the start. Wanye Morris to get some playing time. And Riley Malman. You got Bergeron, Hinton, Stuber, Neisel, Levine, Brockmeyer. And then you have Lindstrom, Dewberry, and Roberts. Jawan Taylor has been elevated from the PUP list to where he possibly could get a start today. We'll have to see how he's feeling. You got Jarrell, Brandon, and Onawina, the rookie out of Ohio State. On the defensive side of the ball, you got Cam Thomas, Ojolari, Pierce, Banks. Zadarius Smith is going to get some playing time today just to get acclimated with the system. Then you have Mason Smith, Harrison, Deshaun Hand, Maxwell, Tupolotu, London, Williams, and Allen Jr. And then for the linebackers, you got Diablo, Daniels, Woods, Tyndall, Harris, Perkins, Bertrand, Captain America, as we call him, Rainier, and then you got Terrell that's going to be starting at the corner with C.J. Henderson. Of course, you're going to see maybe a little Avion Terrell if that hamstring isn't bothering him. Kobe Bryant, Mike Hughes is gonna get some playing time. It's gonna, like I said, you're getting ready to see a lot of guys that are gonna play today. But that's pretty much what we have for the Falcons. Now, here's the other thing that we're gonna be talking about today. We also have the Colt starters. I'll get to this. I'll get to that. Matter of fact, I'll get to it right now. I'm gonna pull this down for a second, so I'll address this. So there have been rumors flying about Stetson Bennett possibly being cut by the Rams, but I don't think. And here's the thing: I want everybody to read the tea leaves on this. Stetson Bennett probably will not get cut by the Rams because not many teams take a chance on a low round guy the way that they did to keep him around. They put him in rehab and let him still get paid during the year, even though he was getting some medical treatment. Most teams cut guys that have those type of issues. So the franchise really likes him, even though they did draft a first round quarterback. It does not matter. He's still garnering a paycheck and possibly could be their permanent backup. That's just how that goes. So I look at it like this: if for some reason the Rams decide to let him go and the Falcons have a chance to bring him in, why not? It makes perfect sense. What worse are you gonna have? You got guys that are inexperienced, and then you got guys that are injured. How much worse can it get? You got a quarterback that sat behind Stafford and Jimmy G and learned in the Sean McVay system on how to pass and pretty much how to play. So again, where would that be? Where would that be that bad? But I'm not gonna get too heavy into that. I just wanted to make sure I answered your topics, Mike, that you put up there for you, boy. Here's the other thing. We do need to see the starters today. Period. We need to see some starters. Even if it's for a series or two, you need to see your starters because it's getting to that point now to where preseason game 3, you got to roll with it. You got to roll with it. Um, I'm not worried about the defensive ends, to be honest, because Kendall Daniels and Harold Perkins did a really good job. And we were playing a vanilla cover 8 defense last week. For those who don't know, that cover 8 defense, you're not really going to be bringing pressure. You're just playing assignments on the field, pretty much grass lanes on the field. You're not really trying to cause pressure, which we didn't. But when we did dial up a pressure or two, you saw the results of that. Defense did get off the field on those third downs. So I don't worry about the defensive ends. My concern is the secondary. Linebackers I'm not worried about because we have depth. The secondary is my concern. Who's going to be the number 2? Because Mike Hughes had moments last week as well where he looked suspect. Who's going to be the other safeties? Because Bates was a little banged up. He's back. But who's going to be the safeties? You got Watts. Bowman is still rehabbing right now. You have so many things that are, when I say it makes you think, who's going to be the number 2 corner? Kobe Bryant had moments last week to where he looked lost. Then he had some moments where he flashed the brilliance. But as I said before, we don't have a true number 2 corner right now. Even though Hughes is getting the paycheck, we don't have a true cover 2 corner right now. And truthfully, Hughes should have been gone last year. But the reason they're not getting rid of him last year is because of experience. But again, injury prone. If y'all I need y'all to look at the pattern of what we have. It's a lot of injuries that we've stacked up on this team. Guys that have had to fight the injury bug. Everybody wants to have the second chance. Look, we don't need to be a rehab center for players. We need to be a place to where players can come and rehab the fan base mentally at this point and rehab what winning is like. That's what we need. We don't need a rehab center to where guys are trying to fix themselves, and then once we let them go, they show out elsewhere or they just collect paychecks and steal until they retire. This doesn't need to be a financial rehab center and a medical rehab center for everybody. But hey, it's just what it is. We'll probably end up seeing, look, he says he doesn't think the starters are playing. You might see a few people that start that might get a couple of snaps, but I'm not going to sit there and say that because we saw starters play last week too. But it's just what it is. Yeah. If he does, you got to see what they want for him. And as I spoke earlier, he sat in the Sean McVay system and he's learned from Matthew Stafford and Jimmy G. What could it hurt at this point? Because The quarterback room right now is shaky. It's very shaky right now. But other than that, the offensive line is my main concern at this point. Everything else that I've seen does not make me think twice about it. I'm okay with the defense. They're going to give it up. I understood the reason why we got gashed last week. Some of those guys on that field won't be here this year. So I'm not tripping about it. But I also saw when we dialed things up how we pretty much put the clamps on that offense. Just saying. But at this point, it's a couple of things. It's a couple of guys I want gone. Mike Hughes is one of them. I'm sorry. Mike Hughes is one. Cooper Rush is another one, better known as Pooper Rush, because he's been pooping down his leg for the longest. And then I'm still looking for I'm still looking to weave through and see what other talent that we have on this team and what players are collecting early paychecks that we can go ahead and move on from. That is what I'm looking at right now. That is what I want to see. What else are we going to put out here? Yeah, I agree. Mike Hughes should have been gone last year. But here's the other thing I'm going to put out here for y'all. There's 3 major takeaways from the joint practice that we had with the Colts this week. The offense continues to struggle to make explosive plays. We continue to keep struggling. We didn't have our most productive offensive practice with Drake providing the biggest highlight of the day. Either the Colts defense is that good or we are just not a good offensive football team. Period. And we can't play bully ball all year. We can't, because you're going to have teams where you're going to have to put up points through the air. You can't just run the ball and control the clock. Eventually, we're going to have to. Right now, it's no need to panic. Preseason. I know folks are in their feelings. Folks are upset, but it's no need to be right now. No need to be. The thing that you need to concern yourselves with is if this starts trickling down during the season, that's when you got to worry. The offense, honestly, in the preseason was better than what we've seen so far. Right now, we got to wait till week 1. We've seen teams look god awful in 3 preseason games, and teams run the table. Hopefully we get that week 1 win because we have enough experience and enough talent here to go into Pittsburgh and do it. But depending on how Kevin Stefanski handles it, I don't know if that's gonna suffice. That's where I'm at. Another takeaway that I'll take from this, outside of the offense being stifled somewhat, you still have to talk about the right tackle. And I keep harping on it. And quarterback reps remain worth watching. Jawan Taylor took every snap this week during practice. And what was said afterwards was he felt good. And he revealed his knee that he had surgery on. It's been cleaned up. It's not giving him any issues. But got to remember, we got to see how that's going to be when live bullets are happening. He says he's fully healthy now, but I need to see what happens when he gets caught up in the pile. I need to see what happens when he's got guys that's taking shots at him. How does he react? That is what I need to see. Because just to be honest, I don't trust Jawan Taylor at that tackle spot. That's just me. He led the Jaguars with holes when he was there. Yes, he played with Kansas City. Yes, he had some great moments there. But consistency is the thing that he has struggled with. And the other things that I think about when we talk about the Falcons at this point offensively, one of the takeaways that we'll say, and this is a positive, the run defense showed significant improvement. Even though we gave up 162 yards last Friday night, they faced the Colts. And you got to remember, they gave up we gave up the franchise worst with 323 yards last year. But the defense looked better on Wednesday in joint practice. When we talk about hand London and those guys that were controlling the middle of the field. That is key in itself. If you can't control the center of everything, your defense is gonna fold. Period. It's gonna fold like a cheap fan in a church down south. That's pretty much how that goes. But the injury concerns was Jesse Bates because he didn't receive any work, and Avion Terrell still ain't playing. He's dealing with a hamstring, so he's coming in with pulled pork on the back of his leg. That's pretty much what that is. But the Falcons didn't dominate the Colts, but they provided information on what to look forward to and what they're going to bring to the table when it actually comes to this ball club. The newest D tackle signing. Rotational piece right now. That's the best I can tell you. Rotational piece. We still have to see what he's going to bring to the table, but he's going to be a rotational piece. And there's nothing wrong with that because that means we're going to have depth. The better depth that we have on the defensive line, the more we can get after people, whether it's stopping the run, whether it's opening things up for the linebackers, or whether it's blitzing the quarterback. We have to see if we can actually pass rush. That is going to be the critical thing. This week, I don't think we're going to dial up too many pass rushes. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I think they're going to see if guys are going to be able to make plays on their own. And I believe we will. I don't think that I think the defense and the running game are going to be our strengths this year. Again, the passing game is the thing that kills me because we just paid all this money to Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and now you just drafted a Zachariah Branch. And the question is, are we just throwing screens this year? Are we going downfield? I mean, even though we know this is a tight end friendly offense, we have a consistent weapon at that wide receiver one in Drake London. People can say what they want, and I hear it. I know that a lot of people want this thing to be the Kyle Pitts show in the passing game, but newsflash, you got a wide receiver over there that's been literally one of the dominant receivers in this division. And one of the best I'll say it, one of the best in the game in his short career. So what I would like to see is if we do have opportunities to take shots downfield, let's take some shots. Let's put it to where Drake London can have opportunities. Jahan Dotson can have opportunities. Zach Branch can be used other than just being a screen merchant in this offense. Let's see what a Josh Simon is going to bring to the table. I would love to see us be able to throw downfield sometimes because we have receivers and tight ends that are over 6 feet tall. You have to use the size advantage that we have within the red zone when we get our opportunities. Also, when you're trying to convert third downs and you got to put it in an area where a guy over 6'2", 6'3" has to go get it. That right there in itself tells the story. How is Stefanski going to use this offense? Because, again, Tommy Reese has got a lot to prove. Because, again, he's been relieved practically almost everywhere he's gone, minus Cleveland. My thing is, a lot of Alabama fans remember him very well. Notre Dame fans remember him. And a lot of those people don't have glowing remarks. And then you look at how he struggled in Cleveland last year, it didn't look good for him. So for him to come here, he's got a lot that he's going to have to prove. A lot of people don't like it, but you know what? He's the OC now. We got to lean on him. You got Alex Van Pelt that's in there who he really, let's be honest, Alex Van Pelt is a better quarterback coach than he is a offensive coordinator. He knows the offense, but I wouldn't trust him. The only credible source in that room is Bill Callahan, and he's coaching the line. He's mainly coaching the line, but he's been an offensive coordinator. He's been a head coach. So I think having him in that seat with the knowledge that he has will provide opportunities for Tommy Reese and a Van Pelt to learn. Because, again, you got to remember, he coached in the Super Bowl at one point. Now, here's the other question I got for you guys. We're sitting there talking about the major takeaways from camp. What would surprise, and I want you guys to put it in the chat, what would surprise you about this ball club this season? What would be one of the things that you would want them to work on that would surprise you and give you faith and hope that this ball club actually can win this weak division that we're in, or even if you don't win the division, just get into the wild card? What gives you that type of hope and that type of trust? What would give you that? So you guys can answer that if you like. Like I said, while you're sitting there thinking about that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. We're getting ready to take a little quick commercial break. So y'all marinate on that question real quick. I got you covered. Hey, sit back, relax. Be right back. The Birdcage LLC looks to do it again. We got the Falcons Steelers watch party September the 13th, 2026. What location do you say? At Dave & Buster's in Marietta, Georgia.
Now hand me about 4 or 5 little biscuits. I sure am hungry.
On the game day menu, there will be sliders, wings, fries, bottomless non-alcoholic drinks, but we also have a cash bar for those who want to get their drink on, and also we have a full-fledged menu with waiters and waitresses that are going to take your orders. Also, we have on the ones and twos DJ Swats in the building. We're going to have former ball players to come through to the party. Your ticket also registers you for a raffle giveaway. Hey, we got to hit this thing hard like we hit the Saints. Make sure you get your tickets. You don't want to miss. You know how we get down.
You either get right or you get left. Go.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, if you have not gotten your tickets yet, I've reached out to some of the folks who tune into the show. I need y'all to understand tickets will be done officially selling September the 5th, or if we sell out first. So we're actually getting a lot of traction with these tickets right now. So if you're in the Atlanta area for game 1 and you want a place to hang out with Falcon fans, the Birdcage LLC, we're going to have a live show. Food is going to be covered. We're going to do raffle giveaways. We're going to have some former players to pull up. Hey, if you want to be a part of this, need you to tap in with us on Cash App as well as through Zelle. And like I said, on the YouTube page and on X, we actually got the flyers up, so they'll tell you where to put that money towards. You'll have a ticket and a receipt sent to you as soon as you make that payment. So we got you covered. September the 13th, Steelers Falcons. Let's get to it. Now, getting back to the Falcons right now, want to hear this. The question I asked before, and Nando answered it, was what would surprise you and actually put you in a comfort zone if you saw improvement during the season, and not just improvement, say if they would have won the division or even get to a wild card? What do you think would take for improvement, and what would you want to see, and what would surprise you? You can tap in on the chat, or you can also tap in with us right here and come in and talk. Got the link provided for you on X, also on YouTube. So y'all go ahead and tap into it. I'm gonna go ahead and tap into what my guy Nando was saying. I will be ecstatic if the offensive line can block in passing and running game this season. I'm on a ledge about this issue. Well, it's no need to expedite the process and jump. You don't have to worry about it. I think that this season is going to be more of a learning experience for a lot of people. Anybody that's been a Falcons fan that have experienced the depression side, this right here will be mild. This is just going to be a year of an adjustment. I'm not putting all my stock into what we have going right now with this team. I believe we're going to be a competitive team, but we're not ready for a championship yet. I think we still have a lot of pieces that we need to add, and I feel as if with us, we have to learn how to execute in the red zone a little bit better and actually get to the red zone by putting together some drives that can help us. That is what I'm looking for. How can we conduct great drives? Here's the way. Be able to run the football. Be able to pass block. If we're not taking shots downfield, at least be able to pass block for 2.5, 3 seconds to where our quarterback can use our tight ends. There's a lot of things that has to be, when I say has to be addressed before we can start winning championships or division titles. That's just how that goes. We've been going through a permanent 10-year rebuild. That's what's been going on. We've been going through a permanent 10-year rebuild. This is the year that we have to see change. This is a year that we need to see Kyle Pitts touching the ball a little bit more because your first round pick, they just paid you. You were drafted 4th overall. Everybody is speaking about all the potential that you have. To hell with the potential. Give me results. Tired of hearing that. I'm tired of hearing what he can be. I need for him to be. So if you think I'm hating, you just gonna think I'm hating. I need my offensive line to get better. Period. I need the offensive line to start getting results to where we can actually have a quarterback that can have a halfway decent season so we can use these receivers that we have. We have a boatload of receivers and we can't use them because we can't pass block. And we'll never be able to stretch a defense or get into the red zone if we can't effectively pass that pale. All I'm saying is we have a really good chance to possibly draft another quarterback if Jack Strand doesn't work out, if Penix is not healthy by a certain time. And truthfully, we already know the Tua experiment, depending on how this goes. I don't think we keep a guy like that. They only brought him in because he was a vet. So what's going on, Savannah Swag? I'm going to read this for you. I'm ready for this team to start winning. I know it's a champion. I know it's not a championship year, but I do believe we're good enough to get to the playoffs and scare folks. It's time to take a big step. Here's the thing. We can't take a big step if we can't pass protect. It's pretty much like having a house full of guns and you don't know how to shoot or load ammunition. You got a lot of the guns here, but you got people that are holding them. They don't know how to load the ammunition. They don't know how to put ammo into the clip. They don't know how to load the clip into the firearm, and they don't know how to pull the trigger while it's loaded. You got a loaded team offensively. Defensively, I've seen what it can do. Offensively, you pretty much got a loaded gun that's ready to be pulled and unleashed and just hitting everything down. I'm just going to be honest. We have a loaded gun. We just need somebody to be able to pull the trigger. Can Kevin Stefanski be the guy to pull that trigger? Can Tommy Reese be the guy to load up that firearm for Kevin Stefanski to go ahead and pull that trigger? Will Kevin Stefanski be the guy that can unlock Michael Penix? That's the question when he comes back. Or does he unlock Jack Strand? So many questions to be asked. So that's the reason I asked that question earlier of what would surprise you and what would you like to see and how can you be effective? What would surprise me is if we're more effective in the red zone when we get our opportunities. That's what I'm thinking. I want to see Kyle Pitts get off. I want to see Josh Simon get off. I want to see Austin Hooper back in this offense producing like he did in 2016, 2017, and 2018 for us. I want to see that. I want to see Charlie Warner being able to not just be a blocking tight end, but being able to use his size and pretty much his athletic ability in the red zone. Because we have a tight end room that is full of mismatches. We have a wide receiver room with speed galore and guys that can go get it. Drake, yes, he's going to be your guy that's going to move the chains. He's going to be your physical big body receiver. But we got to be able to use the others that are around. I think in this ball game today, we need to see what else we have when it comes to some of these backup receivers. Who's going to be on this team? Because I already know my man Chris Blair, Prairie View A&M alum, by the way, and he's going to be on this team. He needs to get more opportunities. That man runs a 4.3 40. He's over 6 feet tall, is a special teams ace, and when his number is called in the ball game, he produces when that ball is put on it. So again, I just need to see what's going to happen because this offseason, we're going to have our hands loaded. Period. We're going to have our hands loaded. But the question is, with our hands being loaded, are we going to figure it out? Are we going to figure it out? I think we have the talent to do it. That's not the question. The question is, are we going to be competent enough to do it? That's my question. And my thing is, at this point, I just want to see it. I want to see it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to keep having shows where we're talking about the positive infrastructure and what it could be. I've been done with that. I've been done with that for years. There are other people who feel that way, and they want to be, oh, I'm going to be Patty positive, or I'm going to be Peter positive. But guess what? How can you be positive about something that's unproven? And how can you put in blind faith for something that continues to keep doing the same thing? It's a sign of insanity. I love this ball club. I'm a fan. But as an analyst on this side of the house, I have to be realistic in my viewpoints. Off the camera, I'm just as pissed as half of you guys. But on the camera, I'm going to talk objectively about this team. I'm not going to put my feelings in it. Period. I can't. Yes, you produce, but here's the question. What's the reason of producing numbers, and you can brag about numbers, if you can't convert that into wins? That is what I need to see. Tired of hearing, oh, well, we were in this here, we did this, we did that, blah, 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 blah. That's cool. But can you, that's my question, can you win ball games? Because I'm tired of seeing the entertainment side of the house. I don't care. If it's a boring ass offense, let it be boring. If they're winning games, that's interesting to me. I don't care about how it looks. I can take it death by 1,000 cuts. And here's another way I can describe it. Surgery. How many folks in here have had surgery before? I've had 2. They lay you on that operating table after they pretty much shave whatever part they're getting ready to work on, and they hit you with the betadine to clean it up. After they hit you with the alcohol, they clean you up. And then when you land on that table, after you get your IV in your arm, they start to inject you with your anesthesia. And it's a slow, quiet process. And the next thing you know, you sleep, and God willing, you wake up. Once you wake up, you're pretty much in the recovery room. I'm going to be honest with you. That is what a Falcons offense possibly could look like. Because we're struggling with explosion plays. It's going to be one of those where you're sitting there, oh my God, they're doing this, they're doing that. They're going to hit you, chunk play here, good run here. We're going to do this here. And that is a way that you can get points. I don't care how we get points. I need to be able to get points that tally in the wins. All the highlights and everything else, that's noise. The real noise is made when you can win the division and you can play in these games, still have splash plays, and convert it to wins. I prefer to win ugly. Tired of the losing. I don't know. I know a lot of people want to be entertained. They want the swagger, but here's the problem. Swagger don't win you a championship. Grit, determination, and knowing what the hell you're doing wins ball games. If you got swagger to go along with it, cool. But that's nothing but empty noise. Every championship team has a personality. Some are dull, some are entertaining, some are mean, some are nice. But at the same time, you have to have an identity. And right now, we don't have an identity. The only identity we have is Bijan making plays and people jumping up and down about it. That's it. We need to have more than just Bijan Robinson. You got to have some people, and y'all gonna laugh when I say this. You got to have some JPJ type people. I know he got in trouble this offseason. Glad that he's not gonna do any jail time. At this point, he's got a second chance. But I'll say this. You got to have people that show up in nasty dispositions. They don't mind beating you down and they have no remorse for it. Those are the type of people you have to have on a football team. Period. You got to have some craze to play this game. No matter what level you are, you got to have some craze. And with this ball club, we got a little bit of a mixture of everything. My thing is, I want to see if that mixture of that craze is going to actually be consistent, because the defense had 57 sacks last year, franchise record. Did a great job. I want to see if we have that same type of violence on the other side of the ball, that same type of no remorse of me putting my foot in your neck or in between your hip pockets on that side of the ball. Special teams is a place that I need to be cutthroat at all times. I need big plays made, not just the cutthroat side of the big plays. I need to have a kicker like a Nick Folk that has ice water in his veins. What's going on, Pharaoh? Savannah Swag. Shout out to Pharaoh and Kool-Aid. Those guys are over at We Talk Hawks TV. Y'all check them out. Outside of We Talk Hawks TV, ATL Kool-Aid, he has his own show called Kool-Aid, Atlanta Kool-Aid Drinkers. He's doing his thing over there. It's one of those things, man. Shout out to the other content creators that do come through and show some love, and everybody else that's been coming in here today. I appreciate you guys for stopping through. So don't think just because I'm talking Falcon ball, I don't see you guys. So I wanted to make sure I at least acknowledge the folks that have been coming through here. We appreciate you guys showing support to not only the channel, but also just to the Birdcage in general. So we appreciate it. All right, so getting back to it. I'll say this. I'm with you on this. Jack Strand has to be on the roster. Cooper Rush is garbage. We see that Strand has to learn the game. He's a true rookie at this point. And honestly, Strand to me, and I'm going to catch hell for it, but it's okay. I got a little extra peach cobbler on the plate as you see above. I'm putting a little bit on it. I think if he actually gets more snaps as a starter, and I think if he gets comfortable and once the game slows down for him, he could be a franchise quarterback. I step out on the ledge and say it. Y'all want delusion? I'll give you some delusion. A lot of people got delusion in the way they're believing in people coming back from injuries that fast. You get what I'm saying? Whether we're talking about Penix, whether we're talking about Jalen Walker, whether we're talking about this, because we've seen stuff on the message boards talking about Billy Bowman. I'm looking at it like this. I'm going to have a moment of delusion. I think if you give Jack Strand a chance, he can ball. The man was a top quarterback at the D2 level. You don't grab a guy like that, just let him sit. You know, unless he's sitting behind your starters that you have right now that you're paying. But he ain't going to be sitting for long. That's just me. I'd like to see Jack be able to open it up and throw a little bit more today. He made some good throws, then he made some throws that need to be worked on. There was a touchdown that should have been hit at the end of the game. Walk in. But again, this is what happens when you don't play. And Strand is a rookie. So I give him a little bit of leeway. But throwing the football, Dan Marino said it like this. Throwing the football is throwing the football. You can do it or you can't. Period. That is what it is. Now, I don't want to see any more Cooper Rush. That was a wasted veteran move. You waste money on him. Cooper Rush has been bounced around for a reason. And here's the thing, he's going to get a pension. He's going to get a retirement from the NFL. I don't blame him. Get your money. But, dude, you are not an NFL quarterback. Kind of like how Murray, how did they say on Murray? You are not the father. You are not a great NFL quarterback. And if anybody doesn't know what Murray is, go back and look. Murray used to have Maury Popovich used to have a television show, daytime television show, still comes on here and there. And he really was doing a lot more pregnancy tests. That's what made his show a little bit more famous. But he also used to have other episodes of other things. But again, like he said, you are not the father. Cooper Rush, you are not an NFL quarterback. So big ups to Murray Popovich. That's where I got that from, of course. But I'm wondering when Billy Bowman is coming back. I need to see how he's going to be when he comes back off that Achilles heel. Are they going to handle him with kid gloves because he's just coming back? Or are they actually going to put him in a spot to where he can actually perform at a high level? That's my question. I need to see what it's going to be because Bowman was one of the hearts and souls of his defense last year. He was. And when you look at how he produced before he got hurt, that secondary was nasty. He took a lot of pressure off of JB3. He took a lot of pressure off of Mike Hughes, AJ Terrell, and Xavier Watts. Him being down in that box, being able to cover underneath, when he tore his Achilles, it changed the trajectory of a lot. Just like the Divine Diablo going down. When you lose your green dot and you got a JD Bertrand starting at that point, not good. Not good at all. So if you ever look at it, we've loaded up with linebackers and we've loaded up in the secondary. So again, we have bodies. Can it be consistent with the production? That is what I want to see. I think Woods that plays in the secondary is a pretty good player. Comes up, doesn't mind hitting, does not mind tackling one-on-one in open space, and was okay. I'm not going to say great or good because he got cooked a few times, but it happens. But he was solid in the passing game. Had a couple of pass breakups, got caught on a couple of times, part of the job. But a hell of a lot better than what we had last year. That's just me. A hell of a lot better than what we had last year. And I really don't want to see too much of Pooper Rush. You know, because anytime he throws up some stuff, it's just like a fart in the wind. Just that's what his game sounds like to me. Anytime somebody says that. But hey, we can't be mad. All beggars can't be choosy. And at this point, we can't be choosy lovers like Ron Isley say. We pretty much are beggars at this point. We're pretty much begging for some of these guys to be let go. That's what we're waiting on. Waiting on these guys to be let go, and we're going to be in a spot to where we can actually start bringing in guys that are worth the attention and worth the time. We get money next year. Get a little around 150 million next year coming into the salary cap spot. Hey, bring in more players. Finesse this checkbook to bring in better depth. That's what I'm looking at. Can we bring in better depth at certain spots? Can we hit on our draft evals? We're gonna find out how this first draft went with this regime with what we've taken from Avion Terrell to Zach Branch to Onawina to so many others. Ontario Thompson, you know, he's been dealing with injuries. And here's another thing. Braylon Trice, I want to see more of him. He has not been around for 2 years. He's held up property at Piedmont Palisades, ladies and gentlemen. I see he's checked out. He's got a lease on the place right now. We don't know if he's going back or if he's going to stay. But I would prefer him to check out a Piedmont Palisades permanently and produce on the field because he had the highest pressure rate coming out of college. But at the same time, we have yet to see it because he can't get on the field. So until he does it on the football field, I hate to say it, I ain't hearing it. That's just me. I ain't hearing it. But hey, I'm not getting ready to shut it down, but I got another quick commercial break we got to take, got to pay some bills, got to pay some homage to some folks. Hey, y'all tap in with my man Scoop. This is a little something that's gonna tell you about it. Be right back.
Inspiration comes in many forms. However, we've got a way that we can get your mornings jump started and your days with a shot of Quavo, hosted by inspirational guru Sinque Mentor, better known as Scoop. He's going to have a lot of positive outlooks and from a different perspective on how to handle situations. You don't want to miss out. Catch him daily in the mornings and in the afternoons.
Hey man, welcome back. Y'all check in with our boy Scoop. He does things on Facebook, X, and also TikTok. Morning motivation, afternoon motivation. He's just pretty much getting some great nuggets and positive information out there for you guys. I'll say this. I think today is gonna be a running game. I think we're gonna see a little bit of the tight ends today, but I think it's gonna be more of a balanced physical game today. That's what it's gonna be. If you can't see the game, once again, as I've said before, go ahead and tap in with Larry Dixon of the Dixon Way on YouTube and on X. And please, please, please just check him out. One of the best commentators in the game. He does a great job of he's not biased with his calls, even though he's just a Falcon fan, and he's just in that spot. So at this point, I just look at it like this. We got to build up some things. And while we're sitting here building up some things or whatnot, I really feel as if it's got to be proven. I'm not putting blind trust into anybody that I've seen go through 13 quarterbacks and you had loaded teams in Cleveland. I don't trust it. You got to earn my trust. So if y'all say that makes me a crappy fan, so be it. But trust is earned, never given. You got to earn trust. You got to do the right things. So what I need to see, one of the right things to do, play these starters. Play the starters. Not saying for the whole game. Give them a couple of series today. But next week, for that last game against Miami, you got to play your starters for a good amount of that time. Period. So I'm just looking at it from that standpoint. You just got to do it that way. You know, it didn't hurt legendary players who used to play back in the day in preseason games. It didn't hurt a lot of people. It made them better. But I'll say one of the coolest things that we'll see today, we got a D tackle that we ended up grabbing. I think he's going to be a rotational piece, but I think he's going to end up being one of Nate Ollie's projects when we talk about it. If you sit back and think about it, Carlos Allen Jr. out of Atlanta, Georgia, Doug High, for those folks that are Douglas Astros. Shout out to y'all over there. This kid played at Houston, hungry, nasty, and can get after it. I think he's going to be what Ruka Roro was supposed to be or what David Onyemata was supposed to be. That's what I see out of this kid. Watched him at Houston, local guy. I think he's a hell of a player, period. And I think he's going to be one of those guys that you just sit back and just say, you know what? It's an excellent, excellent undrafted free agency choice. So I'm good with it. And we got a couple of guys that are undrafted free agents that can ball. And I've seen it so far. We just got to see it on the regular. But, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get to it, man. And, you know, the game starts at 1. Check out Larry. But also tap back in with me for the halftime report. We're going to also have the party line and the benediction post-game show after the ball game. So we got a loaded day as we always do. And, hey, I'll be back with the halftime stats, a little bit of analysis, and everything else that comes with it. So we appreciate you guys for tapping in right now with us with the pregame meal. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down and get this kitchen closed up. So y'all be blessed. I'll catch you at halftime. Ghost.